Hey, this is Andrea, and we are continuing our talks with Caprio. We left off, Caprio was telling us about NFTs and their association with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And so we are going to continue with part B, where we're going to talk about the blockchain. All of this is very interesting because I don't know, something in my spirit, it could be a Gen X thing. I'm not going to go as far as saying that, things are about to take off in a whole other direction regarding currency. I believe for a long time we have been back to bartering and trading anyway, or throwing around digital numbers for a very long time. A lot of us, shopping online with the credit cards and so on. But things are looking different, and I'm really interested to see which direction that they go in, because from what I gather, people are not only going to be able to monetize from their art or their creation or their service and so on, but they're also going to be able to negotiate prices and what they sell it for, still hold on to it to some degree of ownership, only really licensing it out and not actually selling it. In other words, you buy it for several years and then afterwards it goes back. Any money that you make on it, they get a taste. Well, a person who licensed slash bought the product would be able to resell the product, and then within a certain time frame that they bought it for, and then any money that they make off of it, the owner or creator also makes money. So it's very interesting. It's sounds like making money on top of making money on top of making money. Hopefully getting everybody out of debt or living in a comfortable place. I never understood why everyone couldn't at least be middle class. Um, Everyone doesn't have aspirations to be wealthy, a billionaire, or working hard to get as close to being the top trillionaire, top billionaire. Uh, uh, I don't think anybody ever become trillionaire. Maybe if they put their monies together, and then can you still call them a trillionaire? Anyway, um, we're going to take off from where we left off at talking about the blockchain and keeping the focus, because again, I told you guys I can go left real quick. Then you got to pull me back, and that's if you remember, because I can't be interesting with my little stories and my rants. But anyway, so we're going to continue with the blockchain. Just jump right back on in there.
And blockchain is what it's really all about. It's not even about Bitcoin. Blockchain, I've seen an article where Bank of America invested in 20 patents for blockchain. When I saw that, I knew something was up. That's when I knew, I have to watch. I have to stay watchful and seeing how this is going to move. And from there on, I've been watching blockchain and seeing how it grows. It's like, wow, this is the new world.
And what is blockchain?
Blockchain is a ledger. It's a digital ledger. Basically, that's the easiest way to put it, is where you have access to place anything onto the blockchain. It's decentralized ledger. So once you put something into that as a smart contract, nobody can touch it. You could lose the code to your blockchain. You could lose the code to it and never be able to access it again. That's how protective it is. It's basically keeping a detailed report of every transaction that goes through that system. Whether it's a contract, is noting everything.
Is it something like Nielsen, or it's different?
You could say that, but it's different because it's a digital ledger. That's the part that people are trying to wrap their head around and trying to get more understanding about, because it's like as if you have a ledger. Back then, we had a ledger that was kept by the government or whatever systems we use as a ledger. Blockchain is a decentralized ledger to where you could be able to place smart contracts, place items such as tokens, Ethereum. Everything is built on the blockchain system. Without it, nothing can stand. So this is where Bitcoin is making a remarkable the remarkable movement that it's making is built on the blockchain. And these stores are starting, or these companies are learning how to create different things using this blockchain. I just purchased what they call a .crypto website. And basically you pay a one-time fee for this .crypto. So I have Caprio Jackson .crypto. Mm-hmm. That's my website for life. It's basically placed in the ledger on blockchain, and nobody can touch that unless I sell it. So what people are doing now, they're going in and they're purchasing names of websites. And when somebody want to buy it out, let's say Nike, for instance, right? And I thought it was a game. I thought it was a joke when I first heard about it. And I was like, well, let's say if I wanted to go buy Nike and Nike wanted to buy it out when it's time to, create it, I could set the bid on how much they would have to pay for it just to get it from me. Because, there's a lot of people that pay big money just for a title for a website.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So now think about it on the crypto level. They would have to pay a lot more money because now that's a one-time fee and they would own it. It's theirs for the lifespan of their brand. So I went on and I decided to, before I bought mine, I wanted to make sure it's really the real deal. They call them unstoppable domains. So I went in and I typed in Adidas, bought out. Privately, it's private, it's bought out. Nike, bought out. Kanye West, bought out. Every big name that there is in the industry, they have all been bought out.
Wow. Do the owners buy it themselves, or somebody else jumped on the bandwagon?
Now that's the question. I don't know if somebody actually bought it out for them or if it was them. But one thing that was clear is that all of the majors, they know about it. Small timers or people that's out of the loop on their end, they wouldn't know anything about it.
My partners told me, maybe I shouldn't say it. I won't say it in case somebody try to buy it. Well, I won't tell you the name, but
don't mention the name.
Yeah, not you, but I won't say it in our talk. But our partners, they kept trying to tell me, Andrea, we have to trademark, and I was like, I had several businesses, I didn't trademark. I was like, I think it could wait. They were like, no. And then I went on Clubhouse and I started hearing all of this stuff. And they were saying something about you can start your business and someone find out about it and they see it's going to be lucrative and they go buy up all of the domains. And so now you have to buy the domain that you want for your business from them, and they'll probably charge you thousands because they overheard you talking about it. You didn't trademark it, and so they ended up going and trademarked the name real fast, bought up all the domains. I was like, oh my God, like people are making a business out of
right. That's definitely, that's a lucrative business. Now to think that there is now a decentralized market for that to where you can own it for life. Think about how much more money that they'll be paying just to get that domain.
That's something.
So everything is about timestamp. We're now on a time-based monetary system. Wow. Being decentralized allows you to timestamp everything you created. You just have to be the first to create that and put it into the system.
I wonder if we in the past, and I don't know if you could answer this, but I wonder if somewhere in the past this happened, but maybe on a different level, but for the time equivalent. And I say that because there was several times in the past where inventions were on the rise. You just had people that were going nuts over, just they may have even had a full-time job, but as soon as they got off work and even on their lunch break, their mind was always on inventing something. And they would go into the conventions where they would put out their inventions for investors or whatever. But then you go a certain period where you don't quite see that. It's something else that's the trend or going on. And then some time will go on and then it's back again where everybody's really, trying to come up with all of these inventions. I wonder I just wonder if that's a thing. You know what I mean? Because it feels like that's what's happening now, but because technology is such, it's on a digital level.
Right. And it's definitely it's definitely that is definitely a thing. And it's funny that you mentioned that because that has happened throughout history. George Washington Carver,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the pioneers in creating inventions, Nikola Tesla, all these moments where, and it's always something that's been happening. Sometimes it hit the mainstream when it's new technology that takes place, like the internet, for instance. When the internet first hit the scene, when Bill Gates, and Windows, Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
when we went from the DOS system into Microsoft Windows,
Mm-hmm.
everybody wanted to get on and create advertisement, and it was just overwhelming scenario of advertisement. Everything changed.
It was
Same thing.
revolutionary. It really was. We
Right.
went from, because I did that. I was trained in data processing back in what was it? Was it the late 80s, maybe 88, 89 or something like that? And then
Right.
I got extensive training in I think it was maybe the early 90s. And
Right.
I got certified in word and data processing. And I just remember when I very first got my training, because I'm an old head. I'm Generation X, so we were in DOS. We grew up through DOS, where you had to literally type every single thing you wanted. If you wanted to copy a file, you had to type HTTP, whatever,
Right.
and then you had to do some initials like move and or make or copy, and then you had to type it literally all out and tell the computer what it was. Almost like you had to hold the system's hand and walk it over to where you wanted it to go. And then
Right.
when Bill Gates came out with the Microsoft, and then we had the icons. It was really revolutionary because now you can see what you were doing, and it was
Right.
actually almost scary.
Right. And beautiful thing about it is I've learned when I was just in elementary at the time, I was on the DOS system learning how to make video games. Teacher was teaching us how to make video games. And he said there's no other students that are learning this at this time. And I felt that since I was diving into it, this would benefit you all that are in this classroom and will help you succeed to what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
I never forgot that.
Yeah.
From that moment on, that set me ahead of the game. That jewel came to us.
And but see, you were smart, and I was, because I'm into the arts, like with the writing and theater and film, and I write novels. Like my head was so deeply buried. I think somebody mentioned this in another interview that I had. They said, when you reach that age where they tell you, okay, you have a choice, which one are you going to go into, the arts or the sciences? And I really, it moved me because I said, I don't hear people talk like that. And I know that was my past, that was my experience. And I went full fledged into the arts because I love writing. I always knew I would, create stories on stage. I knew I would put stories in books, and I knew I would do film, but I had always hoped I would have it up on a big screen and, maybe on TV or something. And so that's where my head was. So I missed a lot of things, but and I say that to say that I remember being in business class when I was in high school. I was a little not so good, and so I ended up not being able to do the college track. I had to do the business track, and which was fairly simple and easy. I guess that was their way of helping you graduate. And so
Right.
the next step after that was sending you to trade to the vocational part. So
Right.
I did pretty good in the business part. And so, but I remember in the books, they used to tell us the things that were going to happen. They told us that machines were going to be taken over. And at that time, we're talking 1980, 81, 82, you know what I'm saying? Like we're talking the early 80s. And so they were telling us that down the pike, you would, whereas in the supermarket you would have about 12 or 15 lanes, they said you're going to have half of that, and that the others are going to be where people can do they can swipe and do ring their things up themselves. they said the
Right.
machines were one machine was gonna replace from 50 to 100 people, and the machine would do things extensively. And how they would
Right.
start off is the machine would take the place of about 50 people's job, and then while they're working on that technology to make it take over another 50 or 100 people's job, it would, with just the technology in it would be growing until the machine basically was running the whole shebang. And so
Correct.
I remembered it, but I always felt like, wow, they told us this was going to happen. And so when I saw everybody getting laid off and people complaining, especially in the Midwest, because, technology basically pulled the rug from under them and everything. And then they had the nerve to move the companies, didn't even train the people or whatever. So I just always thought that was, really, like something else. And I don't think that I thought about it again until later when I just began to, see it all not only pan out, but then seeing people get in an uproar about it. Because the
Right.
thing is, they were telling us it was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I said, you're good in that you made good on the fact that somebody was introducing you to things, saying, look, technology is changing. This is going to happen. Let me show you. And then it seems like it kind of opened your mind up, that and probably other things, and got you to this point to where you are up on the things that are happening.
Correct. And that's what you're seeing nowadays. That's what you're starting to see take place today.
This is something else. Well,
That's what you're seeing.
I learned a whole lot from you. We definitely have to do this again because there's so much. I know we just touching on things, and I'm gonna marinate on this, and then we're gonna come back. I'm even thinking about having a panel discussion, especially about the NFTs and about the cryptocurrency. And I'll have you come back, and then I may do it on a bigger level. Maybe we'll do the panel discussion with Zoom, and I'll have some people come in and ask questions because this is so new, odd, and different. Like I knew that certain things were going to happen. Like I was waiting on a car that could fly, and I was waiting on it to be like the Jetsons, where your car was parked in your garage way up in the sky somewhere, and it kind of flew in, and like I was waiting on those kind of things, but I wasn't
Right.
waiting on some of the changes that are happening now. And even though those
Right.
things I was waiting on never happened, but some of the things with technology, some of the things with technology that are happening now are still baffling because who would have ever thought money would be replaced? And then I thought the government would never let it.
Right. And the thing is that they can't stop it because now it's on the digital platform. Once it's open, it's like the song, when the song that says radio, I think it's
Replace the video star.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's video killed the radio star.
Yeah, video killed the radio star.
Right. It's the same thing where even when I was in school, they was talking about the different ages of screens, where we went from radio to TV screens to telecommunication. It always changed.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to a point where we got so comfortable to where we was able to accept change the way it is, not looking at what's the next thing that they're going to create. And when we reached 2005, just easily. Remember when we used to play CDs and listen to a CD in a car? Now nobody don't hold the CD. Nobody don't touch the CD. It's MP3. It's downloads. It's streaming.
Yeah.
Is where the only thing that you'll probably be able to carry the most is your phone.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still money to be had with CDs. I tell people because sometimes people will buy stuff from you out of sympathy. You put your video or something on a sympathy, or you say, listen, this is my CD with my music, can you support? They will buy it. That's the only reason why I tell people don't count it out. Yeah, it's passe, we're not doing that anymore, but there are
people will still buy it.
Yeah, they'll buy it just to support and things like that, because to tell somebody, when you get home, check it out, and then, it's just not. But if you give them some, people just, I think, like something in exchange. I noticed that because even in crowdfunding, they tell you to give perks,
Yeah, sometimes it's just a nostalgic novelty, It's one of those things that take you back and be like, hey, man, I remember this. Remember the CDs? Oh, man, yeah. Let me see if I can find a CD player to play it.
Really? Oh my God, that's the conversation. Because my car still has the CD. Let me tell you, I get into a rental car when I go away. Because I go to Atlanta at least a couple times a year for either a book event or a festival or visit family or whatever. And so when I go, I rent a car, and that's, I promise you, the only time I see what's happening with the new cars. And I'm like,
Right,
and they'll say, okay, so this is the, you picked it out. This is the car, the keys are in it. Just go. And I'm like, wait, no, hold up. You got to come and show. One time I had to go back and say, I'm so sorry. I picked out my car, but could you just tell me how to start it? Can you tell me
right,
what's going on? And then every time they tried to walk, I was like, listen, whatever you have, you're going to have to put 2 or 3 minutes to the side and just say, okay, I'm not going to be able to do it because you got to show me this before I slam into something or never get out this parking lot because I don't know what's happening here. So
right.
much stuff. Like I did know that little piece with the car, where you don't even have to start it no more. You just push the button. But
Push
now,
the button.
yeah, now it's like so much. I'm like, oh,
Now the gear shift is just a knob that you turn.
I can't with that. That's scary to me. And I promise you, I have a 2007 Ford Taurus, and I promise you, I will have that until that car coughs and rolls over and dies. Even if I buy a new one, I will. And once I get to a certain status that I want, I'm gonna collect the old cars. I'm gonna collect them, and I want at least three. I want for sure a '67 Firebird, and a couple more that I want to get. But I mainly want them because if anything ever happens with our electrical grid and cars can, they show you that in the movies, and then the car
Right.
can't start or whatever, it's okay because I
Yep.
got
You
my
still got your gas card.
yeah,
Yep.
you see? So I
Yep.
definitely want to keep me a car just for that purpose, the older models. But today they have nothing left to do but fly. There's nothing
Right.
left.
Yeah, it's nothing left but yeah, you're right. To levitate. And they're working on that.
Yeah, they have one. I think it might have been about 10 years or close. Some guy, I saw a video on YouTube, but not YouTube, on social media, I think a couple of years ago of it, but about almost 10 years ago, this dude, he did, I don't know if he was down south or the Midwest, but I'm almost positive he was from the US. The car, it levitates and it floats, but the problem is went up and then it would come back down. And he couldn't control it midair, so when it came down, he couldn't control what it was gonna bump into. So,
Right.
but he's on his way, and all it takes is for somebody to see that and throw a couple of million, if not more.
To help navigate that. Yeah, technology is definitely taking off. NFT is just the beginning of it as far as when it comes down to the financial and monetary system. And it's amazing.
I almost forgot. I have one last question, and my friend Natasha would have killed me if I didn't ask you this question. Um, where okay, we put stuff on NFT, right?
Hmm.
Where do the buyers come from? How do we get that? We've gotten everything up on the NFT. We did the art. We put it up. How do we find the buyers or the bidders?
Well, the bidders will go straight to the site that you created on, because usually you create an NFT on one of the particular sites where it's a rareable, mintable. That's the name of the site. One is called Rareable.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is called Mintable. You have a few others, but they would go to those sites where they could check out NFTs, because everybody now are checking out NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either one of those platforms that you're using, or you could create, like me, I'm thinking for my new website, and I'm really putting thought behind this. I'm putting everything onto my website where my NFTs are already presented onto my website.
And how would that? But doesn't it have to go to those two websites you just mentioned? Is it what a link?
No, because I have the link to it. So as long as I have the link and it's there and they could click on it, they're able to buy it from that link that I have. So once I put that link onto my website, you'll see the information there and see the NFT store where all the information is actually there.
But
so you could
just to make sure that I'm clear. So you said there's two sites, something and Mintable.
Rareable, and Mintable. So you could type in Google. You could just type up create NFT,
Okay.
and you'll see the sites or the websites that'll pull up, and it'll let you know which ones or where you could buy NFTs as well.
And rareable, I take it to mean rare. Mintable meaning mint, like it wasn't ever touched, like mint condition.
Correct.
Okay. And so, but so you're saying that you would do your own site, but if the people know to go to those two sites to buy, how will they know to go to your site?
Well, my site would just be me promoting my own thing when I create my YouTube channel. See, what I'm using is a platform to where artists have a total decentralized. What I'm doing is having a total decentralized marketing avenue.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the new artists come in at. You have a decentralized artist platform. Basically, the team that you work with, the people that's willing to work with you as an artist. Now you have a full decentralized platform to where people could be able to go to your site and get the music from you, your artwork, everything from you, and you receive majority of the income that comes in from it. Because everything that I created is decentralized. I own it. I own it.
And so you're going to market your site, evidently.
Pretty much.
Okay, got you. And the people that go to Riverable and Mintable, how will they know to go to your site?
They can either type in the name Caprio Jackson or, look up the artist.
So you can look them up there?
Yeah, I put my name up on everything that I create is Caprio Jackson. So the NFT will be able to pop up on Mintable. I'm not using Rebel, so I use Mintable. So I put Caprio Jackson, and it should pull up the two items that I created.
And then if they click on it, it'll take them to your site.
It'll take. Well, no, if they click on the NFT, it won't take them to my site. My site will be holding my NFT. If they go to Mintable, it'll just take them straight to the NFT, and they'll see the backstory for the item that I posted up.
Okay, but if they go to your website, yes, and they click on it, that'll take them to the NFT.
Right, they'll take them directly to the NFT.
Got you. So in other words, you're just covering your bases.
Right.
Got you.
I want everything to always link back to everything that I'm promoting.
Very smart young man. I'm learning.
Appreciate it.
And it's so funny that that you're telling me, like, I don't know. I'm a Taurus to Bull. I purposely have to open my mind. It doesn't happen naturally. I'm a creature of habit. I like what I know, and I don't like change.
Trust me, we're from the same Earth tribe. I'm a Capricorn, a ghost, stubborn as I want to be. But
see,
what helped me understand it is I had to let go of that, because even that within itself, I never want to hold myself to that, because everything is changing.
Exactly.
And me being a creator, the inevitable is change. So if I want to survive and get through this as a creator, I have to, pretty much put myself in that position to allow the change and start educating myself and getting ahead of the storm rather than being behind. A lot of times I see it like this, where that was the days of being analog. Now we're in the age of digital. We're digitizing. We're being digitized. And now the fact that we're being digitized, that means we're being reprogrammed.
Yeah.
Our whole anatomy, our DNA structure, everything about us as beings, creative beings, and tapping into that digital mind state. It's about how we apply these tools to our daily lives in order to adapt to the changes that are happening. And that's with the cryptocurrency, that's with everything that's going on, allowing us to read more. And even within the culture of the melanated culture, we only had so many years of reading because certain literacy or books, literature was taken away from us during some time. So for us to play catch up, once upon a time, that was really hard for us to do. When now we have Google, we have the access to everything that we really want to learn. It's just a tap and download for us to, tune into it. We have to use that stubbornness that we have to learn now.
Yeah.
I'm more stubborn to learning. I want to learn.
Yeah.
If you're not talking about learning, if you're not talking about how to expand my mind, I don't want to be on that. I don't want to go to the club. I don't want to go party and chill. I want to learn how this stuff works, so that way I could be able to educate myself, my family, so that I know how to stay ahead in order for us to make a living from this thing. Because even jobs are starting to change.
Yeah.
People are starting to work more from home and learning how to do things based online than rather just being inside the building with a large overhead.
Well, oh my God, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say they're realizing that that overhead was not all it was cut out to be. Because
Right.
if, let's just take, for example, and I don't know who owns this building, but let's just say that Prudential has an office in a building that they don't own, right? Because I believe they own most of their buildings. But let's say that this particular, it's not necessary, right? Because they don't know when they may snatch that department out or that whatever out. So they just rent about all the floors in that building. Well, because of COVID now they have to work from home. And guess what?
Right.
It's still work is still happening as usual. People are still
Right.
on point treasuring their jobs because one they don't want to get laid off, but two, they have a good work ethic. So you mean to
Right.
tell me I was spending something $1 million a month for that building, and they're still doing the same proper work at home. They're meeting over Zoom and making it happen.
Right.
You see?
Yep.
Why
And
would
they
I,
starting
why would I continue?
yep. So when they start giving up this property and this land for overhead, because this is what's starting to happen, they're going to start giving back this property, which is going to give up more property to build more other stuff on it for real estate. So more homes, rather more different types of businesses. So this is where things are going to change. Now you got to think about how can you create a place to where now you can have a business that has a different type of format of business, creative spots, where you have creatives come in and collaborate, meeting up, is making room for a new system.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that I really do hope that because with creatives, oftentimes we do have to be in person. We can do the Zoom, but you can only do the Zoom but so far. It's not filing and calling and doing sales and business deals. It's literally more in person. That's why actors to get tested often. And like Tyler Perry, I was talking to somebody and they were telling me a few people told me that they stay in there on his site, because they have to be together and work. And if you go out among other people, no telling what you're getting, bring back. So that's because the arts are more in person. And so hopefully certain things like that do come our way. I know a guy in Newark. I don't know who owns the actual art company, whatever agency firm, whatever it is. But the guy who owns the building, he gives it to them and he writes it off every year. And from what I heard, he writes off about $1 million every year. And he lets them they use every room, every floor. It's like 3 floors. They use every room, a small part for storage, but the rest of it, they made booths. And in the booths, they go and artists maybe the booth is about 10 feet by 10 feet. And they can go in there and they can paint, draw it, whatever their art is, if they need 2 booths, they can use 2 and then do like a photo shoot or whatever that they're trying to make. But it's all artists, those that draw, those that paint, those do graphic arts, whatever their art is. And so I would hope that some people would be kind enough to do something like that for the arts, because the arts gets no love.
They just try to bring money or try to monetize it, and a lot of people within the art world don't know how to really monetize their artwork, and when it comes down to the business aspect of it, they want to know how can we make dollars from it. If we can't make dollars from it, we're not interested. And then the ones who do make dollars from it, they have investors, supporters, people that are really able to help them, teach them how to put shows together. Art galleries make so much money. That's what Art Basel really is. It's a major art gallery.
What is it?
Art Basel.
I don't think I heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, Art Basel is one of the biggest shows that takes place over cross seas in the U.S. I attended the Art Basel in Miami, and they have international artists come and sell their items, their painting, their concepts, everything, you know. And they have so many sponsors from BET. I was doing the video work for BET, and yeah, I was doing the coverage, and it's just amazing how so many people could come out and be a part of it. And they sell out of tickets within the first month.
Wow.
Month or two. So it's just about how to host those shows and those events. Money making is an event, socializing, getting people to come together, networking, you know, and your time is valuable. Consulting, all of those things you could charge. Just people don't really do so to make it happen.
The whole thing, I think the same thing happened with me. My business sense goes to a certain point, and then after that, I'm in overdrive. Now, if I cut out all the art, I have time for it because I worked in corporate for about 20 plus years. So if I
Right.
cut out all the art, no filming, no theater, no writing books, then I can go back to being, having my brain fully in corporate. And I can
Right.
probably, I don't know, because today's technology is a little extra, but I could probably, get back in the game. But because I'm giving my life over to what I've always wanted to do, my art, I don't have the wherewithal or the brain capacity to juggle both the art and the business. I can only go.
Right.
I probably could have only went to a certain level anyway, even if I was fully 100% business. But now that
Right.
I'm also doing the art, that's where it is. And so I can only imagine someone who's solely been art, graduated school, had some breaks, whether they were living with their parents or they got married and the husband was the provider or vice versa. They just didn't have the worry. They could just be fully into the art. And now they have to get into the business. And I tell you, last night and last week, two different people said to me, Andrea, you need a business partner. And because they said that I'm trying to do the art and I'm juggling the business, and it's not so much that whether I'm doing a good job or not, it's just that to do one means to take away from the other.
The other, yeah. And I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, and someone told me just last night. They said, Andrea, I'm listening to you. You know the business, but it's the time because there's also the art part, and we're talking about filming. And they were like, you really need a business partner. And I started thinking to myself, like, I knew I did, but to hear someone say it to me, I was like, okay, maybe I need to put more stock into that. But how many
Right.
people in business really respect art? Really respect like film? Don't get me wrong, investors who have made money from film or know someone who has, that's different. But they're going to invest. They're not going to do the business part. They're going to invest.
Yeah, they're going to be partial investors, not full-time investors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they just putting the money in and want to see the money back. You got to put in the extra work and getting everything put together from the marketing, the advertising, and that's where all the money really comes into. It's the advertising and the marketing.
Yep, the promoting. Yep, because
Right.
without everybody knowing that it's coming, and
Right, and that's key. Like knowing how to market and advertise. And me being a music artist, I'm doing majority of my marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they say you got to have a marketing team and everything else, and I could probably get that, but then who's going to advertise and help me with a vision that they don't even know about?
That's what I'm saying.
I have to get the vision out some way, somehow, and that's where YouTube comes in. At Instagram, I have to learn how to operate these platforms to where the vision get out to a certain manner. To it's like, hey, that's dope. I want to be a part of that. You're allowed to join. Come on, let's make it work.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I think most people are wired to be one or the other. Either it's art,
Right.
science, and I don't know where business falls between the arts and the science, but it does not fall on the arts for sure. I know that it will adopt the arts. Business will adopt the arts, and it will adopt science for what? To make money, because that is business. That's the nature of the beast. But as far as like really trying to delve into the art, it's only but so far you can let the business person go.
That's what I'm gonna call ABS. ABS. That's arts, business, and science. The three that you have to. If you want good abs, you gotta master all three.
Yeah.
So That's where you learn how to speak the language of all three and connect with people who's in each one of those segments. Because now art and science is now together due to the decentralized market.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the art meets the science, or it's the science of the arts.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of the grants, because I write grants, and a lot of the grants, their main question, and I never thought I would have ever saw this. Their main question is, if you get this grant, how will you adapt your art to the new world? And they'll say it in different ways, but they're talking about digital.
You're right, and that's the key thing. Like, even with what I'm doing right now is the new form of artistry.
What's that?
As far as the formats that I'm using, like, I have a format where you could print out a shirt. Like, I print out an image. I print it on a shirt. You use the app, or you could use the screen from the app. And when you place the phone and pick up on, it's called AR, augmented reality. And when you use that app to look at that image, it's going to pull up the music video.
Caprio, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this great information with us. We were oblivious to the whole NFT and block this and that, and we just want to thank you so much for coming on. You've been really great in sharing that information and breaking it down in a way that we can understand it.
Definitely. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. I appreciate you taking time out to talk to us, because Lord knows I felt like I just had a workshop. The only good thing is my head isn't as heavy. I thought I was going to walk, because I don't like math.
I definitely didn't want to bog you down with too much of the numbers and the hard process. It was just more so how everything works. And, the aspect that there's platforms to make it easier for you to get into it.
Thank God that they had mercy, because that the numbers and all of that stuff just does not cut it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But thank you again so much for coming.
No problem. Well, you can reach me on my IG and my YouTube at Caprio Jackson. You can also reach me by tagging in Caprio Jackson under Google, and you'll be able to find all of my links. Also, check out Broom TV or Broom.tv. Caprio Jackson to find out all the links that I have for the content that I create. Just saying.
You've been listening to I'm Just Saying with Andrea and friends. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to share, because sharing is caring. Like, comment. Also, if you never want to miss an episode, subscribe, baby.